How high value men beat women at the game. 5 Stoic rules for total domination. Old Stoic wisdom. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Marcus Aurelius. Most men think dominance means being louder, tougher, more aggressive. They think women will respect them if they impress, if they provide, if they perform. They're wrong. In today's world, real power doesn't scream. It doesn't chase. It doesn't need permission to exist. The strongest man isn't the one who controls others, but the one who stands firm without begging for connection, approval, or love. He is unshaken by silence, unaffected by guilt, and unyielding under pressure. He never contorts himself to hold a woman's interest. In relationships, weakness invites being used, led, and replaced, not because women are harsh, but because life tests softness and follows strength. So this video isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming a man who can't be bent. If you're tired of overgiving, of being chosen and then discarded, or of living in uncertainty, this is for you. Watch closely as I reveal 5 Stoic principles for emotional and relational mastery. Rules that apply whether you're single, dating, married, or rebuilding from the ground up. These are the truths that command respect from men and captivate women. Let's dive in. Rule 1. Speak less, watch more. Power belongs to the man who holds his tongue and resists the urge to react impulsively. Most men lose power not because they fail to speak, but because they speak too soon, defending themselves prematurely, explaining excessively, responding without thinking. Every time they do, they expose a critical vulnerability, emotional dependence. This is not weakness disguised as strength. It is weakness laid bare. Niccolò Machiavelli, whose wisdom echoes through time, warned clearly. A prince should learn to avoid being hated or despised. And nothing makes a man more contemptible than inconsistency and reactivity. Reacting immediately is the mark of a man who lacks control. The one who flinches first always loses the game. Apply this truth to your love life. When a woman gives you the silent treatment after a disagreement, the typical response of many men is panic. They send lengthy texts, make repeated calls, apologize for things they didn't do, and desperately try to fix what isn't broken. They believe they're saving the relationship, but in truth, they are surrendering their frame of power. She tests your center, your emotional core, and if you react with frantic energy, you reveal you don't have one. That loss of control is the loss of power. Now think beyond relationships. Imagine yourself in a professional meeting where a colleague interrupts you, cutting you off mid-sentence. The instinct is to raise your voice, to try to overpower them with volume or speed. That is the wrong move. The Machiavellian approach commands you to remain silent, to let your stillness build weight and discomfort around you. When you finally speak, do so slowly, sharply, intentionally. Make every word count. Powerful men don't compete for attention. They command it through contrast and restraint. Machiavelli also wrote, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." If your sense of control depends on others' reactions, especially women's, your foundation is weak and will crack under pressure. Here is a precise strategy you can implement immediately. When she pulls back emotionally, don't fill the silence. Don't chase the fading energy or try to force a resolution. Hold your posture. Observe her reaction with steady calm. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Then speak with calm brevity. One sentence, no pleading, no long explanations. Because the man who stays silent under pressure becomes the man no one can predict. And the man who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle transcends the personal realm. It applies to business, friendships, and every confrontation you face. When you master silence, you master power itself. When you control your reactions, you command the room. In real life, this means pausing before responding, recognizing that your instinct to fill every silence or defend every slight only reveals your weakness. The strongest men hold their space, make others uncomfortable with their calm, and speak only when their words carry true weight. This is how you dominate, not through force but through control, through presence, through quiet authority. Remember, the game is not about winning every argument. It's about never losing your center. Rule 2. Control the frame or be trapped inside hers. This is not just advice. It is a fundamental truth that separates high-value men from those who endlessly struggle and lose. People, especially women, don't react to cold facts or logical explanations. Instead, they respond to the story they have already written in their minds about you. This story filters every interaction, every gesture, every word you speak. No matter how much you try to prove yourself, if that narrative has already cast you as needy, desperate, or weak, your efforts will be misread or dismissed. Machiavelli's sharp insight cuts to the core of this reality. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. He was not cynical. He was brutally honest. Perception is power. It is the battlefield where you must fight and win. Because if you don't shape how you are seen, someone else will, often to your disadvantage. In the realm of relationships, this plays out daily. You give more, adjust your behavior, explain yourself, hoping she will finally see the value you know you have. But here's the hard truth. She has already framed you in her mind, and once that frame is set, it is nearly impossible to change. Your confidence looks like a mask for insecurity, your generosity feels like guilt or a plea for acceptance. This is why so many men fall into the trap of over-explaining, over-justifying, trying to fix a story that isn't theirs to rewrite. Now, flip the entire approach. Say less, move slower, speak only when it serves your purpose, withdraw when your presence is not needed. In that silence, in that controlled restraint, you do something profound. You force her to fill in the blanks. She begins to assign you qualities you never had to boast about, mysterious, grounded, and high value. This is not magic. It is the power of controlling the frame before trying to influence the outcome. This principle is not confined to romantic relationships. It applies to every interaction in your life. Imagine two men enter a room. One is quiet, well-dressed, calm, observing more than talking. People feel his presence and instinctively assign him status. The other man tries too hard, talks too much, explains himself before being asked, and even if he possesses greater skills, he is seen as insecure and needy. Same facts, different frames. Machiavelli's words echo again. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The goal is not to be fake or manipulative. It is to reveal yourself strategically and with precision. You don't need to shout your worth. You must show it deliberately, letting your actions and presence speak louder than words. Starting today, make a precise move to shift the frame in your favor. Stop chasing admiration. Stop forcing others to see your value. Instead, appear with unshakable purpose. Speak only with clear intention. Withdraw when your voice isn't necessary. Let the silence work for you. Allow others, especially women, to fill the gaps with imagination, not information. This restraint is your strength. In a world obsessed with noise, a man who doesn't try too hard to be seen becomes unforgettable. He dominates quietly, or without need for constant validation or approval. This rule, when mastered, translates to every area of modern life, from business negotiations to social situations, from friendships to leadership roles. Command your presence silently, and you will witness how people bend naturally to your frame, how respect and influence follow without you having to demand them. Remember, the frame you control dictates the story others tell about you, and in that story lies your power to win, to dominate, and to lead with total authority. Rule 2 isn't just advice, it's your ultimate weapon. Control the frame, or be trapped inside hers. Stop chasing approval. Speak with purpose. Withdraw your energy when it's not needed. Let silence build your power. Master this, and watch respect and influence follow naturally. If you're ready to take control and dominate your story, drop a comment right now. I own my frame and lead with quiet power. Rule 3. Win her mind. before you win her heart. This is the iron law every high-value man must obey if he desires total mastery over the game. Attraction doesn't spark from empty gestures or desperate emotional flooding. It ignites in the fortress of her mind. If she doesn't respect your mental clarity, your emotional investment is wasted currency. Too many men drown women in compliments, endless messages, and grand gestures, thinking that sheer effort breaks down walls. Wrong. Her belief system, deep-rooted, unshakable, is the true battleground. Niccolò Machiavelli, the master strategist, understood this better than anyone. He never wasted time flattering those whose minds were already made up. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler, he said, is to look at the men he has around him. That means your circle, your partner, your surroundings. They all scream your judgment and the beliefs you tolerate. Now, face reality. You bombard her with texts. You gift lavishly. You prove you're different from the rest. But do you stop and ask, what does she really believe about men? Does she see men as weak, disposable, a threat? Does she crave love or just attention? If her core belief is that men always disappoint, no message or gift will rewrite her script. She will respect your effort, maybe even admire it, yet leave anyway. Not because you lacked heart, but because you lacked strategy. This lesson transcends romance. Picture this. You're at a family dinner, pitching your business idea, showing data, results, plans, yet your cousin remains unconvinced because his belief about you is fixed. You're not serious enough. Why? Because people don't change for truth. They change for belief. Machiavelli said it plainly. Men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. The deception starts in the mind. The battlefield is perception, not surface. You must infiltrate her belief system before you conquer her heart. Win her mind, and her loyalty will follow. Ignore this, and you waste your time chasing shadows. You want to dominate the game? You want to be the man who commands respect and loyalty? Then stop flooding her inbox and start mastering the architecture of her beliefs. Own your mind. Own the game. Don't fall into the trap of weak emotional overcompensation. Be ruthless in your clarity. Be strategic in your approach. This is the power of the Stoic man, unshakable, decisive, commanding. Remember Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Harness this. Dominate the mind, and the heart will never betray you. Like if you're ready to stop chasing and start winning. Comment below. I control my mind, I control my game. Subscribe for the next rule, because the path to mastery demands relentless learning. Rule 4. See through her mask without triggering the guard. Every woman wears a mask. Sometimes it looks like confidence. Sometimes it looks like sarcasm, independence, coldness, or control. But beneath that mask lies a fragile core, a place where validation is needed, fears of rejection linger, and old wounds hide. Don't fall into the trap of reacting to the mask itself. When you argue with her attitude, you lose, because you fight a shadow, not the reality beneath. When you defend yourself against her silence, you miss the chance to decode what she truly expects. The real victory is in seeing beyond the mask, quietly gaining leverage with calm insight, not confrontation. Niccolò Machiavelli, who understood power's intricate dance better than most, said, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver, not to hurt, but to gain insight without exposing your hand." This is the essence of strategic mastery in relationships and beyond. Think about it in practical terms. She says, "Do what you want." You do exactly that. Then she turns cold, distant, dismissive. This isn't indifference, it's camouflaged attachment. She hides her neediness behind a veil of detachment, afraid to show vulnerability. The average man reacts with frustration or tries to over-explain himself, losing his footing. The high-value man doesn't react. He doesn't attack. Instead, he mirrors her behavior with calm understanding, letting her mask reveal itself on its own terms, slipping away when pressure fades. Imagine you're in a store and the cashier is curt, almost rude. Instead of snapping back, you slow down, smile, and say, "Rough day." The cold mask drops, replaced by softened eyes. The attitude wasn't about you. It was a battle she fought internally. The same principle applies at family dinners, when an uncle harshly criticizes your career in front of everyone. Later you discover he's been laid off, hiding his shame. His pride was not true confidence, it was a shield. If you had reacted with ego, you'd miss the truth entirely. The key move that separates pawns from players is this: never try to fix or fight pride directly. Mirror it. Let her feel seen, not exposed. Use calm, subtle questions to create emotional safety instead of pushing for solutions. Then observe. If her pride softens and her real self emerges, she's genuine. If the mask stays, withdraw your energy quietly and completely. The man who sees through armor and stays grounded gains magnetic power, not just with women, but in every room he enters. This is total domination without domination. It's mastery of presence, patience, and perception. Remember what the Stoics teach. Marcus Aurelius advised to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This means don't get entangled in others' facades or emotional games. Maintain your composure. Control your responses. That is where true strength lies. Real life throws masks at us constantly, not just in relationships, but in every interaction. Recognize the mask. Don't attack it. Be the calm force that holds steady while others reveal their truths. That's how you command respect, build authentic connections, and move with power through the world. So, don't be fooled by the surface. Understand what lies beneath. Control your reactions like a master chess player. When she throws a cold stare or sarcasm, don't counter with heat. Meet it with calm, insight, and strategic silence. This is not weakness. It's the sharpest edge in the game of influence. The mask will either slip, showing the real person, or stay firm, signaling it's time to withdraw your energy and keep your dignity intact. That's how high-value men dominate, not by force, but by seeing clearly and acting wisely. Now it's your turn. How have you learned to see beyond the masks in your own life? Share your experiences below. Your story could be the insight someone else needs to master their own game. If you've truly grasped the power of seeing beyond the mask, you're already stepping into the mindset of a high-value man, calm, unshakable, and strategically masterful. Remember, domination isn't about force, it's about insight, patience, and presence. Now, own that strength. Comment below with this statement: I see beyond the mask with calm mastery. Let's build a community of men who rise above the surface and win the game with wisdom, not war. Rule 5. Become the mystery she can't decode. The moment a woman fully understands you, she starts managing you. This is the harsh truth every high-value man must accept and master. Predictability breeds comfort, but kills desire. Safety is not attraction. When everything about you is laid bare and predictable, her mind stops chasing. She stops feeling that electric anticipation, the deep intrigue, and the respect that mystery commands. Remember Machiavelli's insight. Though he never wrote about dating, his wisdom applies like a razor. Men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. This is the core rule. Let people see enough to believe, but never enough to control. If she knows every reaction you'll have, every emotion you'll reveal, every text you'll send first, then you're already losing the subtle tension that fuels attraction. She doesn't want a book she can finish reading in one night. She wants a story she has to return to, a puzzle she can't solve. At first, your openness is intoxicating. She's drawn in by your honesty. But over time, that openness becomes predictable, and predictability breeds boredom. The high-value man, however, moves with deliberate purpose. He doesn't lay all his cards on the table, but keeps them close, letting only fragments show, carefully chosen and powerful, not by coldness, not by childish manipulation, but by steady composure, depth, and an unreadable calm that keeps her emotionally alert and invested. Imagine you're at a gathering, surrounded by men all shouting about their wins, their plans, their opinions. You don't join the chorus. You listen more than you speak. Your calm silence makes others lean in, wondering who you really are. Your restraint, your choice to reveal less, creates an aura of mystery that demands attention. The same principle applies at work. You don't feel the need to announce every small success or defend every idea aggressively. Instead, you let your results and presence speak louder than words, because when no one can predict your next move, you command respect. This shift from being transparent and reactive to being composed and intentional is the gateway to real magnetism and masculine dominance. Stop revealing everything. Speak less than you know. Reveal less than you feel. Move less than you're capable of. This is not about playing games or being dishonest. It's about mastering yourself, controlling your energy, and shaping the dynamic on your terms. A predictable man becomes manageable. An unreadable man becomes unforgettable. That is the essence of masculine power, being the mystery she can't decode and the force she can't resist. In modern life, where oversharing is a norm and attention is fleeting, mastering this rule sets you apart. You don't need to be loud or aggressive. Your calm, purposeful silence and measured actions create a magnetic pull that commands attention and respect naturally. Be that man, silent but powerful, present but mysterious, and watch how the world, especially the women worth winning, lean into your orbit. If this resonates with you, like the video, comment below, and share it with someone who's ready to elevate their game. Don't forget to subscribe for more timeless wisdom on becoming a high-value man. Comment to remember, I am the mystery she can't decode. Own your power by mastering the art of purposeful silence and magnetic presence. Rule 6. Prioritize self-mastery over external validation. True power starts from within. It's a force forged through unyielding self-discipline, mental toughness, and the mastery of your own emotions. This is the foundation on which all lasting dominance is built. Marcus Aurelius, a timeless beacon of Stoic wisdom, commands us with unshakable clarity. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This admonition cuts to the core of the issue. You must stop wasting energy trying to convince others of your worth or chasing validation that evaporates as quickly as it arrives. Instead, focus fiercely on becoming the man you admire and respect. This means cultivating habits that enforce consistency in every area of your life, your physical health, your professional endeavors, your mindset, until your self-image becomes impervious to external forces. Visualize a man who refuses to bend to every whim or seek applause for every small achievement. This man's worth is measured by his own ironclad standards, not by the fluctuating moods or praises of others. When faced with rejection, criticism, or silence, he does not crumble or lash out. Instead, he remains composed, grounded, and steadfast because his identity is independent of external validation. This is emotional independence in its purest form, a man who does not lose himself in the unpredictable seas of another's moods or desires, but maintains an unshakable center of clarity about who he is and what he deserves. Such inner mastery radiates a magnetic force that cannot be taught or faked. Women and others naturally respect a man who commands himself first, because this signals an ability to lead others effectively. When your validation flows from within, you avoid the common pitfalls of desperation, overgiving, over-explaining, or compromising your values to gain acceptance. Your actions instead spring from integrity and confidence. This is the essence of real dominance. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It simply exists as a quiet, powerful presence. Remember the words of Epictetus, who said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom, power, respect, all are consequences of self-mastery. This rule applies to every aspect of life, especially relationships. When you prioritize self-mastery, you don't become emotionally dependent on a partner's approval or moods. You bring a steady strength to the table, allowing relationships to thrive on mutual respect rather than neediness or control. This keeps you from losing your identity in another person's world, preserving your autonomy and enhancing your value. Life will challenge you constantly: rejection, failure, doubt, and the relentless pressure to conform to external expectations. But the man who masters himself stands above these trials, unshaken and unwavering. His power is not loud or desperate, it's profound and enduring. You must stop feeding the hunger for approval from others, because it is a bottomless pit that leads only to frustration and weakness. Instead, commit fiercely to the internal work of self-discipline and emotional control. Build routines that reinforce your values. Face criticism without fear. Let your worth be defined by your standards, not by anyone else's applause. This is how you dominate the game of life and relationships. Now, it's your turn to act. Reflect on your journey towards self-mastery. How have you wrestled with the temptation to seek validation outside yourself? What practices have helped you build your internal fortress? Share your insights and experiences in the comments below. Let this be a space where men like you inspire and challenge each other to rise above the noise and embody the unbreakable strength that comes only from mastering oneself. The path is tough, but the reward is true power, silent, steady, and absolute. Rule 7. Set boundaries without apology or explanation. Set boundaries without apology or explanation is not just advice. It is a mandate for any man who refuses to be diminished or drained by the demands and chaos of others. Boundaries are the invisible walls that protect your identity, your energy, and your power. They are not negotiable, and they are certainly not up for debate. High-value men understand this deeply. Setting a boundary is a clear declaration of self-respect and non-negotiable standards. When you fail to establish these limits, you leave yourself exposed, inviting others to test your resolve, chip away at your strength, and slowly erode your influence. This is the battlefield where many men lose themselves, not because they lack ability, but because they lack the courage to say, "This far, no further." Machiavelli's wisdom about power applies perfectly here. Real control doesn't come from trying to please everyone or appease every request. It comes from deciding what you allow and what you absolutely reject. The man who tries to explain or apologize for his boundaries weakens his position. Instead, the high-value man meets boundary violations with calm, firm clarity. There is no need for lengthy justifications, emotional negotiations, or apologies. A simple, direct statement, delivered without hesitation, is enough. Then comes the enforcement. Consistency is what turns words into power. If someone crosses a line, especially in emotionally charged situations, such as relationships with women who demand constant attention or attempt to guilt-trip you into compliance, you don't fall into their traps. You do not offer excuses or explanations that only invite further manipulation. Instead, you state your limit with conviction and withdraw your energy when it is disrespected. This is not an act of coldness or emotional detachment. It is an act of clarity and strength. You communicate that your time, your respect, and your presence are sacred commodities, not available for bargaining or emotional exploitation. This kind of boundary setting creates an environment where respect is not the exception, but the rule. It naturally filters out those who drain your energy and attracts those who share your values and match your standards. Your frame remains strong, your presence commanding. People will always test your limits. That is human nature. But when your boundaries are clear and enforced without apology, you teach others how to treat you. This lesson is crucial in every facet of life, at work, among friends, and especially in romantic dynamics. Boundaries are the guardrails that keep you from losing yourself to others' demands, emotional manipulation, or unreasonable expectations. Without them, you become a victim of circumstance, your power diluted, and your identity fragmented. By mastering this rule, you move beyond mere survival in the social arena. You dominate it with dignity, control, and unshakable strength. In today's world, where distractions are endless and demands on your attention come from all sides, digital notifications, social obligations, and emotional games, protecting your energy has never been more critical. Setting boundaries without apology or explanation is the weapon that shields your power from depletion. It's a bold statement that you are the master of your time, your space, and your mind. Don't be fooled into thinking you owe others your energy or your explanations. You don't. That is not arrogance, it is essential self-preservation. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not, you build a fortress around your value. This approach cultivates respect, commands attention, and ensures that your interactions are balanced and worthy of your investment. Be relentless in enforcing your boundaries. Do not falter or feel guilty. Each time you do, you reinforce your strength and teach others that you are not to be taken lightly. High-value men do not negotiate their worth. They assert it firmly and without apology. This is how you dominate the game, not through force or aggression, but through unyielding clarity and respect for yourself. Embrace this rule fully and watch how your presence shifts. People recognize a man who stands his ground with calm authority. They respect him, they follow his lead, and ultimately, they match his energy. Set your boundaries, protect your power, dominate without apology. If you've made it here, you've already done what most men avoid. You've faced the mirror, you've stepped away from comfort and leaned into truth. In a world that teaches men to earn love by shrinking, apologizing, and performing, you've chosen something rare, self-respect without conditions. Most men live on emotional autopilot. They chase validation, then resent the women who control them. They confuse intensity for intimacy, chaos for connection, and obedience for love. But you're building something else. Not noise, not neediness, but presence. Deep, grounded, undeniable. These Machiavellian rules weren't made to make you colder. They were made to make you clear, to help you see through the smiles that manipulate, to protect your soul from being shaped by someone else's fantasy. Because let's be honest, most heartbreak doesn't come from being rejected. It comes from being accepted for someone you're not. But when you live by design, not by reaction, your silence becomes strategy, your boundaries become unshakable, and your love, it becomes a choice, never a leash. From this moment on, you don't need to explain yourself. You refine yourself. You don't fight to prove your worth. You become a man whose worth is self-evident. You lead conversations without dominating them. You inspire attraction without needing to perform. You show strength not by volume, but by what you refuse to tolerate. If you've made it here, you've already done what most men avoid. You've faced the mirror. You've stepped away from comfort and leaned into truth. In a world that teaches men to earn love by shrinking, apologizing, and performing, you've chosen something rare. Self-respect without conditions. Most men live on emotional autopilot. They chase validation, then resent the women who control them. They confuse intensity for intimacy, chaos for connection, and obedience for love. But you're building something else. Not noise, not neediness, but presence. Deep, grounded, undeniable. These Machiavellian rules weren't made to make you colder. They were made to make you clear, to help you see through the smiles that manipulate, to protect your soul from being shaped by someone else's fantasy. This is how kings are made. Not in palaces, but in quiet moments of self-mastery. So keep building. Keep choosing alignment over approval. Keep protecting your peace, like it's a kingdom. Because the man who walks in clarity doesn't chase, he attracts. And what he attracts respects him. Stay calm, stay strategic, stay sovereign. And remember, you're not here to be loved for a mask. You're here to be respected for your truth. One last message for those men who refuse to settle for less, those who are done playing small and are ready to break free from the suffocating grip of the 99%, to step off the crowded path of mediocrity and claim a life of power, respect, and absolute control. This is for the man who understands that life is a game, and only those who learn the rules and master the strategy will win. What I'm about to share will revolutionize how women see you, but more importantly, how you see yourself. Because real change starts inside. The high-value man you will become is forged in the fires of ancient wisdom, the timeless principles of Stoicism that have guided emperors, warriors, and philosophers alike. Marcus Aurelius declared, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is your foundation. Power begins within. The 5 Stoic rules I am about to unveil are your keys to total domination, not just over others, but over your own life and destiny. Rule 1. Detach from the noise and distractions that keep the masses weak and reactive. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity and focus. It allows you to see the game for what it really is and to act from a place of control, not chaos. Rule 2. Build ironclad discipline. Time is your most precious asset. Once lost, it's gone forever. Command your schedule, thoughts, and habits with ruthless efficiency. Remember, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, said Jim Rohn. You must be relentless in your pursuit of excellence. Rule 3. Command respect with integrity and decisive action. Women and everyone around you instinctively follow strength, not empty words or false bravado. Be the man whose actions speak louder than promises. Rule 4. Master your emotions completely. Never be a slave to anger, fear, or doubt. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your emotional control is your superpower. Rule 5. Pursue your goals with unyielding tenacity. Life is won by those who refuse to quit, who move forward despite obstacles, who transform setbacks into fuel for their fire. This is a war, not a game, and the prize is the life you deserve. You cannot afford hesitation or doubt. Act decisively. Act now. Do not let this message fade into the background of your mind. Write a comment to cement your commitment. Declare your readiness to rise and dominate. Press the like button, not just for validation, but to imprint this power deep into your psyche. Share this with a brother who needs this truth to cut through his fog of complacency and fear. Trust your instincts. They are your internal compass forged by experience and wisdom. Remember, men who hesitate fall behind. Men who doubt lose before the fight begins. And men who dominate take everything. Build a mind that bends but never breaks. Build a spirit forged in unbreakable resolve. This is your moment. This is your battle. This is your legacy. And there is more coming, something that will shake the very foundations of your existence and elevate you to a level few ever reach. Stay close. Prepare. Because the game you thought you knew is about to change forever. Be relentless. Be fierce. Be the man who commands respect and wins without question. Step into your power now. Comment below with this affirmation. I am the master of my destiny. Watch how your life shifts when you own your truth and your power. This is not just content. This is your blueprint to domination. This is your call to arms. Do not wait. Do not falter. Do not fall behind. Dominate. Now. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If these 5 Stoic rules for how high-value men beat women at the game and master total domination with Old Stoic wisdom offered you valuable insight, please take a moment right now to hit the like button. Your likes don't just show appreciation, they actually help the video reach more people who want real, effective advice on improving their mindset, confidence, and strategies in life and relationships. And if you know someone who's on their own path of growth and could benefit from these timeless principles, go ahead and share this video with them. Helping each other grow is what this community is all about. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and ring that notification bell so you never miss the kind of no-nonsense, high-value content we put out regularly. I want to be very clear. This channel is about honest, straightforward conversations. So I encourage you to share your feedback and thoughts down in the comments section below. Did any of the Stoic principles I shared today resonate with you? Have you tried applying some of these ideas in your own life or relationships? Or maybe you have questions about how to practically implement Stoicism in everyday situations. And yes, if you disagree with any of the points I made or have a different perspective, that's completely welcome here. Constructive discussion and respectful debate help us all sharpen our understanding and approach. I read every comment and genuinely appreciate the time you take to engage because it helps build a stronger, wiser community. Remember, the true power behind these Stoic rules isn't about manipulation or domination in a negative sense. It's about mastering yourself, your emotions, your reactions, and your mindset, so that you can approach every situation with calm, confidence, and clarity. It's about playing the long game, showing patience when others lose their cool, and holding fast to your values no matter the chaos around you. This is the foundation of real, lasting dominance, not just winning in one moment, but becoming a person others respect and want to follow. The wisdom of the Stoics is timeless because it works. It teaches us to embrace challenges, to stay steady under pressure, and to act with integrity even when it's hard. If you make these principles part of your daily life, you won't just be reacting to the world, you'll be shaping it. You'll stand apart as someone who leads with strength and wisdom, not arrogance or force. Thank you again for being here and investing your time in learning and growing alongside me. I am excited to see how you take these lessons and make them your own. Until next time, keep your focus sharp, your mind steady, and your ambition high. Stay disciplined, keep improving, and remember, the real game is mastering yourself. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.